we had Vic Mignogna actually speak on this issue too. And it's kind of interesting. Actually, I may start with Vic Mignogna, what he had to say. Considering Vic Mignogna, he wasn't the biggest thing to happen with a Nick Rekieta channel, but he was a big one. He was definitely a stepping stone. And he pulled away and didn't make any real statements about it until, well, we're talking about yesterday. So he actually made a statement on this. And I thought it was kind of interesting. You know, if you don't know Vic Mignogna, by the way, for some reason, Vic Mignogna, one of the biggest dub voices out there as far as anime is concerned. He was also the hashtag Kick Vic, I Stand With Vic. All of that kicked off. It was crazy. It was actually an eye-opening experience for a lot of people when it came to false allegations. Now, Nick, like a lot of people, myself too, you know, I covered it for a while, for sure. And Nick covered it for a long time. You know, the unfortunate ending to that case. Oh, man, I didn't want to get into that. But Vic Mignogna actually made a statement. So let's see what he has to say. Subtitles on here.
Get up, and I said it to you before we came on. We live in a free society, right? A free society.
Quit talking.
Okay, I challenge all of you to take me seriously while he's sticking his head in eating ice cream.
Keep on, Bill.
Okay, maybe you'll take me more seriously if I eat ice cream.
Yeah, have a hat. Have a hat. Good. My head hurts, yo.
You guys, everyone
runs
runs around, I'm free to do this, and it's my right to do this, and I got freedom, and I'm free to do this. Well, a free society can never, ever be sustained if people are not personally moral. If an individual doesn't have any foundational sense of right or wrong or morals or his neighbor, fellow people around him. You know, I mean, a perfect example is like gun laws. If all of us in this studio are law-abiding citizens.
By the way, this is working into the question of Nick Rekieta, if you're wondering why. It all works into that topic.
And we're conscientious of our fellow man, and we're not hateful, we're not vengeful, you know what I mean? We're not self-absorbed. Why would we be afraid if everyone had a weapon to protect themselves? It's the fact that there are people out there that abuse their freedoms and do all kinds of horrific things under the guise of, well, I got my rights, and I'm free to do this, I'm free to do that. Well, you may not be free for very long, because I really believe in my heart that a free country cannot continue if there are so many citizens that abuse that freedom.
We didn't talk about this before, but everything you spoke about right there, freedom, guns, I have to get a sound bite, and I know you're going to give a professional answer. Your very good friend has gotten in a lot of trouble, Nick Rekieta. Got arrested with guns, got arrested, and I'm on Nick's side in a lot of this. I think Nick's a good guy. Everybody's been wanting your statement on the Nick thing, and we don't have to elaborate. We don't have to spend the whole show on it, but I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts, Vic? Because what you just said.
You can tell right off the bat, by the way. If you look at Vic, his expressions or lack thereof really give away a lot about the man. You know, he's a very expressionate person. I mean, if you go, I've seen him at, I think, 3 conventions. I'd have to look back. I can't remember, maybe more. I don't even remember anymore. But I've seen him multiple times, a lot of days, seen him interact with hundreds, if not thousands of people, myself included, you know, in interactions. Yeah, gives away a lot when he's doing that. And you can tell he doesn't want to be involved in this conversation. But Alex Stein brought him up. He brought him up when all of this first came up, and he was actually supposed to have an interview with Alex Stein. And then all of the allegations involving kids came out, and he noped out of it. He was like, no, I'm not going to have anything to do with that. So that's kind of why you end up with this. I wanted to explain that. Plus, of course, his involvement again with everything that happened back, I guess that was 2019.
Freedom, guns, this is what he's going through. And I know he's your friend. I know. And this is my thing. A lot of people on the internet are like, you should throw Nick under the bus. But a real friend stays with you when you're going through tough times.
Well, but a real friend doesn't condone bad behavior either.
Okay.
That's actually a very interesting and pretty good statement. You know, friends, they don't condone bad behavior. And, you know, as far as this, Vic has avoided, you know, there would be a response, I think some people would say, well, friends, they don't comment live. You know, why would you? I get that stuff. But, you know, Vic hasn't done that. In fact, he didn't come here for that reason. That just ended up being something that Alex Stein hit him with. And he was like, okay, since I'm here, I'm going to answer this. And I actually thought that was a good answer. Again, you know, you're not condoning bad behavior.
Right? Oh, here's all I want to say about that.
We have to get a soundbite from you because everybody wants to know.
Well, yeah. When that picture was taken, I had no knowledge of anything that was going on in his private life at his home.
And this is at Anime Matsuri where
that
you're
was
going.
Actually, honestly, that was like 4 years ago.
That was in 2019. I'm pretty damn sure. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's 2019 because I went to that convention. So I'm pretty sure that is. So everything that's being discussed here, I mean, we all talk about changes in mindset, all of that stuff. That wasn't then. I mean, that's what I watch this all the time. You know, where people, they associate with someone. It's like, oh, why did you associate with? You know, it's like, this is a different time. It's also Vic Mignogna. You've got to understand something. Vic Mignogna was canceled from everything except Matsuri. It was the only place that stood up to the tide. The media went after him. We're talking about not just entertainment media, but we're talking about mainstream. I mean, this was a monster topic. If people weren't around to see that, it was a monster topic. And Vic Mignogna, he needed allies. And at the time, you know, there was a GoFundMe that had raised around, what was it, 260? I'd have to look at the numbers. It's been a hot minute, you know, so remembering these exactly correct. You'll have to forgive me if I can't remember, like, well, you're talking about that many years. But it was like $260,000. Again, if somebody knows the exact total, they can correct me on that. But, you know, you had people talking about, again, making sure that he had work, making sure that he was represented. And yeah, I mean, he needed allies in that game. I mean, you had people, and you got to remember that the other thing I want to note is Vic Mignogna, the allegations against the man, we're talking about allegations of, there were allegations like this. 6 years ago, when I was walking down a hall, he pulled my hair and said something inappropriate. Really? 6 years ago? 11 years ago, there was this story about, well, he tried to kiss somebody, then it changed. It kept changing. It changed 4 times. People that were around, they were like, that didn't happen. The guy that was involved in the con was like, the con convention, he was like, at the time, he's like, that didn't happen. This man, I firmly believe he was falsely accused, but nobody would hear his fucking side. It was insane to watch. It was right there on the edge of Me Too. So yeah, I mean, when he's looking at that and saying, hey, that was a lifetime ago, it kind of is.
And you're going back to Anime Matsuri in 2 weeks. Yeah, it's the
I'm
biggest.
looking very forward to it. Next to Anime Expo, it's the biggest. It's the second largest anime convention in the country, over 60,000.
That's how you became friends with Nick, right? Because you go to this.
No. In fact, Anime Matsuri invited Nick to come to Matsuri precisely because of his support for me.
Yeah, well.
That's actually 100% correct. that is 100% correct. Because Matsuri, there were panels put on exactly about, you know, cancel culture and everything else. They were huge. You know, again, it was a month. Those are still up, by the way. It's fascinating to look back at a window at that time if you haven't seen it. But that's 100% correct. Vic Mignogna, he was, I'm not going to say channel builder, but he was a huge stepping stone to what a channel became. And again, you know, I went there I actually did, you know, I paid. I paid to go because I wanted to see what was there, you know. I didn't ask to be invited from Montsuri, like for that year. I did get a press pass from him. I asked for a press pass so I could wander around and do whatever the fuck I wanted to and interview people and stuff like that and not get in trouble for it. But I didn't want to pay him for anything. I wanted to be there on my own. That way, if I thought there was something out of form, I could observe it myself. And yeah, I didn't. I didn't think there was anything. In fact, seeing Vic Mignogna there was much, much different. But yeah, Montsuri was inviting multiple people and they're putting on panels, everything, because of Vic Mignogna.
Because he had built a big audience in his support of me and following the events that were going on.
In a way, you could say that he made his audience off your back.
I'm not going to go
He's
there.
a talented guy. I'm just saying you helped give him a little bit.
Here's all I'm going to say about it. I had no idea.
It was the first time I had ever seen live streams that went up to 10,000 plus people. I realized, like I said, you know, that's before the case explosion, as it were, you know, before Rittenhouse, like with 100,000 plus people. But for the longest time, I mean, the numbers that you saw there, the amount of money, I mean, everything for as far as Nick Rekieta's channel is concerned, it was insane to see. So yeah, I definitely built a lot of channel off of it.
Yeah, and I was very, very disheartened and saddened to hear about those events. And I'm praying for him. I want the best for him and his wife and his kids. And I have not talked to him or seen him in a very long time.
Well, I've texted with him a little. You haven't texted with him a little bit? He's being very open and texting. Him and I had a nice conversation.
No.
You guys hadn't had any?
No.
Wow.
I think there was that falling out with most people. Maybe I don't even want to call it a falling out. Maybe that's the wrong word. Distancing. You know, because again, whatever you think about what's going on with a criminal case, with that complaint there was a lot more going on. And again, even if people weren't aware of that, you could see, again, the man was in crisis. The man was in a substance-induced crisis. That's what it felt like, you know. And the topics, too. I mean, the topics don't fit people like a Vic Mignogna. You know, when you're talking Baldo and everything else. I could say, I think what he's saying there, there's nothing negative or anything like that. He's just like, hey, you know, I haven't talked to him in a very long time. He hasn't talked to him about this, but he didn't talk to him about stuff before that either. So the distancing occurred well before this.
It makes me kind of sad, Vic, because I know that you're such a nice guy, and I know it probably hurts you seeing somebody you care about going through this. And we want the best for Nick, you know, whether people like Nick or not. Nick's a father. I want him to come out of this stronger, and I think he can. I think
yeah, we can only hope that Nick, like everyone else, learns from mistakes they make as they move forward. They glean some lessons from mistakes, and they incorporate them into making better choices in the future. I mean, I would want that for me. I would want that for you. I certainly want that for Nick and his wife. And I'm just sorry.
Do you know Kayla very well?
I've only interacted with her when they came to these events.
Do you think that she would find it weird? And we're going to drop it after this.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it.
I know, this is the last question.
Again, you can see Mignogna is very uncomfortable with this. Not just very uncomfortable. That's not his brand. You know, he's not there to really talk about negative. This guy is out here, you know, to talk about his love of Star Trek, you know, his love of anime. You know, he talks about his faith, talks about other things there. And I'm sure it's not just the talking point, though, the way it goes to it. But, I mean, that does suck. It does suck to see something like this, you know. And, I mean, he's also been... He's been under a level of scrutiny, Vic Mignogna has, that most people cannot freaking imagine.
Show April. Do you think Kayla cares that he has? He has a girlfriend now, though. He's in a throuple.
No, I don't know about any of that.
Wow, this is his new girlfriend.
I don't know about any of that. My interactions with him were very limited, and like I said,
everybody speaks highly of Nick. That
I wish the best. I wish healing. Mm-hmm. I pray for healing, and that things will get worked out, and that he and Kayla will come out of this stronger and better than before. And like I said, I don't know anything about it. I just know, I don't know any more than you guys do.
And we'll forget talking about that, but one person we do need to make fun of, a person I actually like, show me on camera. So that was April. We got to make fun of Toe Joe, Aaron Amolte. He was talking negative about you, and that's not okay with me. That's Steel Toe, that guy.
I have no idea who that is.
Well, he
That's the best comment at all. I have no idea who that is. And why would he, honestly? Why would he? Now with his negatives, I feel like I missed something in here, because I thought Aaron's statements were saying that Nick actually badmouthed Vic Mignogna. Maybe Aaron said something else. I don't know. I didn't keep up with every fucking interview that went on. I mean, there were a lot of them. He had that hot minute of fame that he was out there. He was talking about this whole thing. But I thought his statements were basically that, Rekieta said this or Rekieta said that, which, again, if I'm not mistaken, Rekieta denied. I think he denied in that first local stream. I'm not sure, though. Mummy Bird asked, who is Vic Mignogna? Vic Mignogna he's probably the biggest dub voice in anime. He's been in quite a few things. Full Metal Alchemist, for example. Dragon Ball. I mean, quite a few things. God, I'd leave out stuff to go through. But he was canceled big time in 2019. It was, at that time, it was one of the biggest cancellations we had seen in the entertainment sector. A lot of us, we frequent. And what I mean by that is we're not really talking, a lot of us, when we look at Hollywood, we already look at Hollywood as messed up. We know there are cancellations there. And at that level, of course, they're going to have people take aim at them. And we had seen like comic pros get canceled. Heck, at one time during Me Too, in the comic book industry, you'd have 1 to 2 names come out. Like, it wouldn't necessarily be an artist, but there would be, 1 to 2 names involved in a company coming out every single day. There were so many you couldn't keep up with them. But the monster names hadn't really been canceled. And then when Vic Mignogna, when his name hit, I mean, the cancellation, it was insane to watch real time. It was a collaborative effort with media, with people that had worked with the man and pretended to be his friends. They would sit at a table one fucking day, and then the next day they were like, he's a monster. They were just buddy until they weren't. And anime, if you go back and you watch videos of the way these companies, they market themselves and the way people interacted and stuff, it was very sexualized. They were very handsy. All of them. I'm talking about the women, the men, all of them. But Vic Mignogna became the bad guy because he fit the kind of demographic you were allowed to cancel. And because he liked women. But they accused him of ridiculous stuff. If you go back to it, he was definitely, like I said, in my opinion, he was falsely accused. The companies came after him. They denounced him. It was a shit show of epic proportions. The people that went after him, the main ones, they're the ones with all the dub insanity that's come up in the last couple of years. Where people talking about companies hiring people that are insane socially. They have insane social views. They talked about people like Jamie Markey. Yeah, she was one of his accusers. Again, there was one guy too. So this, I'll continue this in a second, but there was this one guy that came out and denounced Vic, saying, "Oh, back in this convention, I saw him go up to this this girlfriend that I had at the time, and he pulled her back and he hissed in her ear like a snake." It was just a ridiculous thing. But when you dug up messages that this guy had at the time, when you dug up his Twitter account and everything, you found him talking about that. But he was talking about Vic Mignogna, how much he loved him. He was one of the greatest guys ever. He was one of the only people in this industry that he would give his phone number to. So it was all bullshit. It was so much bullshit. And many of these people were creepers too. The dudes that got on that, they were fucking creepers. Like I said, Vic Mignogna, I spent a lot of time looking at that case. A lot of people did. And I 100% believe that he was falsely accused. Unfortunately, he did not get his day in court. That was a fucked up situation.
I think he said that, whatever. I mean, I guess he didn't speak highly of you. And I don't
clearly
think
because of all the time he spent with me.
Exactly right.
Right? I mean,
and I like Aaron. I think Aaron's a good guy.
Obviously, he knows what he's talking about.
But Aaron admits that they were doing all kinds of barbiturates and allegedly doing all kinds of stuff. And I guess I just wanted to give you a chance to just set the record straight because people wanted to hear your side of this.
Well, I think some people want to drag me into things that are none of my business.
There you go.
And what happened with what goes on in Nick's private life and in his world and with his wife and family and all of that, I have nothing to do with that. I had no knowledge of any of it, and I had nothing to do with it. So when somebody wants my opinion, I'm like, I have no opinion.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about anything. I like you, or like anybody else, I want the best for him, and I hope that God brings he and his wife through this.
Last question. We're not going to talk about any more after this. Netflix is inevitably going to make a documentary about Nick Rekieta for sure. I have a feeling that it's a very salacious story. I know that looks to be crazy.
Holy shit, by the way. What he just said there, it's quite possible. It's quite possible. It's also some of the places and people that Nick has insulted over the years, they would be very motivated to do a documentary. If you think about it. You have huge networks like Law and Crime that would definitely push the shit out of it. You have many a documentary, I don't know what the fuck you call those people today. I don't even remember. People who made documentaries. Those people, those jackasses, the majority of them, yeah. I think many of them would be very motivated to do that. So I very much think that could be in the realm of possibilities. Plus, you're talking about a name that, again, it picked up a lot of traffic. You got to remember the only reason the traffic died off was because of political items. You had something that was so much bigger knock it out of trending. But otherwise, still be there. And you still see it blip up from time to time. Anytime a new document comes up, you see that blip up there. So I could see Netflix, even if Netflix doesn't pick it up, I could see one of these places like I covered this place called Tortoise Media. They're propped up by the media so much. They have old head media people that have moved on, and they have politicians attached. Well, they go out and they do docu-series, and they absolutely go after people that they don't like socially and politically. And I think that there's enough bad blood there. Yeah, I could see them do that. But anyway, let's continue.
Crazy, but he's one of the biggest streamers ever. He gets in trouble, so now his court case is going to get streamed by people. I'm not saying Netflix can do it, but somebody's going to do a big documentary. You're going to be a part of that. If a major production company came up to you and said, Vic, we want to get your statement, not here on the show, would you participate in something like that?
My statement would be what I just stated.
That's all you would say?
A very short statement.
I know. And Vic has only spoken highly. I just want to say, Vic has only ever spoken highly of Nick. Vic's been very professional. You've never heard you say one negative thing about him.
My interactions with him have always been good. But to be honest, they ended quite a while back. And occasionally there might be a quick text, but recently, not at all.
Well, Nick, me and Vic are rooting for you. We want you to get the help that you need or whatever you need. And sure, Vic.
You know what? I'm going to say a prayer.
Let's
say a
pray.
prayer.
Let's say a
I'm gonna
prayer.
say a prayer. I'm gonna. You know what?
Show the Vic
I'm
camera.
gonna say a prayer for Nick and his wife and Joe Biden.
Okay, and Joe Biden. Yes, that's good.
Right? Don't mock.
I'm not. I'm praying. How am I? How am I?
You don't.
Alex comes off as such a dick sometimes, man. He does. I mean, it'd be funny, but man, Alex, you come off as such a dick sometimes, dude.
How am I mocking? I'm praying.
Am I doing that? Look. Am I doing that?
I pray different. I'm Pentecostal. I'm Pentecostal.
Anybody buying any?
No,
of this?
we have a snake at my church that if you get bit by the snake,
I've heard about that. Okay,
you go to heaven.
Okay. Well, I'm serious. I'm gonna take this
I'm
seriously.
serious too.
All right. Heavenly Father, I just want to bring our president before you. We don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to agree on policies and positions on things, but we certainly don't wish ill or harm. So I pray that if he is ill, especially if he's seriously ill, I pray that you would heal him. Pray that you would protect him and bring him back to full health. And then I also pray for Nick and Kayla and their family. Whatever is going on with them, you know better than we do. There's no reason for us to put a bunch of words to it because you know everything that's going on. So I just want to pray that you will guide Nick and Kayla, bring them through this difficult time. I'm sure it must be incredibly stressful. And I just pray that you would you'd be close to them and bring them through it. In Jesus' name, amen. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm speaking in tongues. This is part of my Pentecostal church. We speak in tongues.
See, I mean, Alex Stein. Some people were like, who is that? That's Alex Stein, by the way. You know, the guy who likes to go to... He likes to go to open forum government meetings, and he says some crazy, funny stuff sometimes. But I mean, yeah, anyway.
Tongues. Why is my culture wrong? Why can't we speak in tongues sometimes?
Did you hear me say wrong?
Okay,
Did I
good.
ever say any culture was wrong? I never said that. When you make that face, though. I have a question for you.
Yes. Amen.
Do you take anything seriously?
I do.
Now look at me.
Yeah, I do take
Don't
stuff.
look over there. Look at me.
I do take stuff seriously.
Do you? I
believe in God.
I'm serious. You put me on the spot trying to ask me something.
I didn't put you on the spot. We had to ask you a question. No, I didn't.
You didn't have to. You did.
So there's more of it. There's an entire interview. If you're so inclined, you can look up the interview on Alex Stein's channel. It's there. But yeah, that's pretty much the interaction with it. I thought he was very fair in it, to be honest. You know, again, it was interesting to watch play out, though, because Vic Mignogna was scheduled to go on Alex Stein when there was just an arrest. You know, he like everybody, didn't know particular allegations about things. You know a few things. You know there was an alleged drug arrest. I'm going to go with alleged. I do it for everybody else. I might as well do it here. You had all of that, but he hadn't heard everything. Then when the statements about kids came out, he was just like, no, I'm going to nope out of that. I'm out of here.